Alright, welcome everybody. This is GhostWolf, and I'm joined by Sark.
Hello.
This is our tutorial on how to get 59 or 60 Gilda Stars in about 90 minutes, starting with the Elf race on the Nuia continent for Archeage. Alright, so if you wanted to open up your skill tree and kind of explain what skills combo with what, and what this is. So this is the skills you guys are going to be looking at the end of this run. We're trying to cutting this in at the beginning, so that way you guys get an idea of what skills you're expected to pick up and which ones you can skip.
Okay, so as far as archery is concerned, whenever you're first attacking a mob, you really want to open up with your charged bolt and combine that with your piercing shot afterwards, and it will increase the slow effect because charged bolt gives you a slow, and then the combo with piercing shot increases the severity of the slow. So you want to make sure that you use those in combination. And then usually for my personal rotation, assuming I have all those abilities, it'll be charged bolt, piercing shot, and then my stun, a drop back if I need it, and then just spamming endless arrows until the rest of my archery abilities come back off cooldown.
Yep. And at the early levels, charge bolt and piercing shot, followed by just spamming your regular archer attack. And then somewhere in the middle, you'll probably pick up the stun, the startling strain from Songcraft.
Yep.
And basically, we built the same way in this video. I went Songcraft earlier, so I did pick up this stun before level 10. And you have the extra skill point for it, so it's completely up to your preference whether you want to pick up Shadowplay or not. You can see they're exactly the same level. You can't use any of the Shadowplay skills that you pick up until level 10 anyway, so either way works. And at level 10 you pick up all of your Endless Arrows, Quick Step, and Drop Back. Even though I do have Critical Discord, do not pick this up early. You will not have enough skill points for all the necessary skills, and the combo for Fear just does not seem to work very well. You may even just not pick this up at all. But you do want the passive for extra move speed on Archery. So you always want to roll Archery first. And yeah, I think that's just about it. If you do decide to run this combo, you basically want to do a Startling Strain first, which will give them the stun, and then once the stun wears off, they'll be charmed. Once the stun wears off and they start moving again, you hit them with Critical Discord, and sometimes the target will fear. I think it's not really working very well because we're fighting mobs that are much, much higher level than us. So that's probably why that's not a good one on the rotation. Starting with the Elf race on the Nuia continent for Archeage. It'll be useful for launch, and we're going to be kind of explaining things as we run through. And I'll probably be screwing it up because this is my third run through for the full thing. And Sark's 10th?
So I don't even know anymore.
Okay, so character creation. Currently in beta, so that's the reason I have 3 characters on this account. You would not be able to have more than 2 per server after beta. So choose Elf, choose your race, and one of the nice things you can do during the open beta period to make this a little bit faster is you can actually, once you get your appearance customized how you like, and there's tons of options, you can actually save the appearance with the button down here in the bottom right, and you can use load appearance. I've already got one saved, so I just instantly skipped all the character customization and probably bought myself a minute. And there's a list of exactly where, or a pop-up that shows you where it was saved on your computer in case you want to back it up. Alright, so next we're going to select our skill set. So we definitely want to go Archery first. There's been extensive testing. You can always switch your class later. It's very inexpensive to do so. But the Archer is necessary for a lot of the kiting, and it has the best damage to do some of the fighting. I think, what is it? Level 12s or 13s versus level 27 mobs by the end of this?
Yeah, something like that.
Alright, so once you made your character, you select it and connect in. And we're going to skip all the cutscenes, just hit escape on whenever you see them, because you can watch them again later at the end once you finish them, but right now we're just dealing with time. And I will tend to talk over you, Sark, so just interject whenever there's a point you need to make.
Go for it.
And so, step 1, close tutorial, click the X, and then confirm it. Alright, so we want to go over setting up menu bars?
Sure, you go first.
Okay, so the way I set my menu bar up, since you're doing Archer spec, you don't generally want your basic melee attack on the bar, so you get rid of that. You move your first Archer ability, which is Charge Bolt to slot number 2. I typically get rid of Dash and Kick because they don't have any use except in a few quests. You can use Dash by double-tapping W. It's the same functionality, so you don't need a skill. I usually keep everything else on the bar. You can get rid of Dance if you want to, but, you know, we can dance if we want to.
I wasn't going to say it.
I had to. You can't pass up a safety dance reference. So going into the main options, this is how I set it up. So I go into the menu, go into options, and these generally don't save. I have it windowed. You can set your resolution to whatever you want. DirectX 9 tends to be a little bit more stable than DirectX 11 with Archeage. I turn my UI down to 80%. I usually leave all my settings on whatever their default are. You can change these if you want, but they don't really make too much of a difference. Volume and stuff like that, that's all up to whatever you want to do. Name info, this one's an important one. You get rid of all pet names except your own, makes your pet easier to find. Keep NPC names on. Get rid of all friendlies that are not in your party. I leave enemy player names, you're not going to come across them. Displaying your name is helpful at times. And then in game info, I usually show health stats and mana stats on. Show the target of target's cast bar. Damage breakdown and tooltips is fine. And I think that is about it on game info.
Close show chat bubbles. You don't want that on there because it gets in the way of the screen.
I always forget that one. It's hidden kind of in the bag area in the center.
And that's also where you can find your display helmet. If you don't want to display your helmet, you can uncheck that one too.
Ah, excellent. And then you can do functionality. Then I usually do the click to move. I just prefer that one. It's up to you.
I don't.
Double
I hate
tap.
click to move.
Okay. Double tap to jump. Double tap jump to deploy glider. This one is critical because this one allows you to get on your glider quickly, and it just makes sense if you double jump, you pull out a glider. Then I also do. I take off camera shake effects. It just fixes things if you get stunned or anything a little bit better. You can close quest dialogue close-ups. This will actually save you a bit of time because when you normally take quests, it'll zoom in on the NPC and there's sometimes a little bit of a load time or a little bit of disorientation when you go in and out of that. This allows you to just grab the quest as quickly as possible. Max players displayed, I usually drop that down. And these are things you're going to be doing kind of in the first few seconds when you get into game. If you're trying to go for the minimal time. You can, auto-decline duels is usually a good one to pick if that will prevent people from causing you to slow down if they try dueling you. We ran into that a little bit when we did our run. And then the other big one is down under pet controls. Mount, dismount, put that to a button. And then pet skill 1, put that to another button as well. I have a gaming mouse, which is why my buttons look weird, because I think one of them is assigned to I and one of them is assigned to curly bracket. But for your convenience, put them to whatever you like. But it's helpful to have the mount dismount button because there is no default button that does that. Also, I like assigning my bag to B because it makes it easier to open your bag. It's just easy to remember. And that's most of my keybinds. I don't know if you have any other ones to add in.
Nope, that's pretty much it.
All right, and so now you can see the UI scale is really, really tiny. All these players standing next to me don't have names, so you can keep with your party better. And you recommend to do this in pairs or threes, depending on the stability of the connection, I believe, right?
Yeah, you don't want to go with a full group of 5 because then you run the risk of people disconnecting or not being able to stay connected or people even not being able to get into the game. It's best to just find a partner or 2 people to run with. You have a better chance of being able to keep the group together.
Yeah, and that's if you're running purely for speed. If you're just doing this for this is the most efficient way to get these 59 stars and you don't really care too much about the time, then do it as a bigger group. It will actually work in raid size. You can do this with a 50-man group. There are a few quests where you'll bottleneck a little bit. But for the most part, we've actually removed all the bottleneck quests that can be skipped that don't give you newly stars. Alright, so anything else as far as startup?
Not that I can think of. I think we're good to go.
Alright, and one thing I like to do is I like to change my chat to trade, because it just gets rid of all the chat. Extend the bar down, maybe put it into party or something. And if you click on the all button and drag it, you can move it down to the bottom of the screen, and I usually put my bag over top of it. So with the 80% UI, you have plenty of room to always have your bag up, always have the map on large, and you can still see everything. I think that is about it for setup, so I'll leave it to you since you're the master if you want to guide us through these steps.
Okay. then here we go. I'll try and explain as I go. Most of it is pretty self-explanatory. You'll see it. We're gonna pick up all these.
Yeah, and so, yeah, I'm actually able to pick these up really quickly without that overlay UI, zoom in, close-up thing.
Yeah. If at all possible, skip this first group of elementals.
Alright, so I'm back. So sometimes when you crash out, your settings will change. They didn't for me that time, but so let's keep going. So this is the first group you avoid. This is the group we hit. And there seems to be a pack that runs away.
And they won't chase you if you hit them. They'll just keep running in circles.
Yep.
Come on, man.
Yeah, it was not letting me slow. Oh, it was resetting.
Yeah. One more.
Yeah, they're chasing the rabbit.
Oh, is that what they're doing? That's adorable.
Things you learn when you run it all a bunch. So you double tap W, it'll get you running along. The green crystals along the side, if you are out of sprint, they will also give you a boost, but your sprint will overwrite that. So you move like this without sprint, and the sprint is more powerful. With your archer, you basically want to be using your number 2 skill whenever possible, and then just using the bow attack whenever you don't. You do have to loot these deer, so make sure if you're doing it in the group, if you split off and have different targets, you come back and loot your partners. I don't think we got kill credit for that.
Nope.
Alright, so we got 3. Luckily, these early quests don't require any backtracking. There's a statue over here to the left. You get some, like, an object piece for your house from there. I don't know what it does, but just pointing it out since I saw it on the way down. Don't make detours if you're trying to run this for optimal time. There's also other patches of small deer farther down the road, and so I just ran out of mana, so I'm going to hit that, and I get a 30-second speed buff while I regen my mana, since the dash consumes it. Basically, burn out your dash in this early area, or if you were a patron and had bought a mount, that would also be good to use because it gets you the speed buff. Although I don't think you get the mount until you get... No, you get the mount instantly if you buy it from the auction house.
Yes, and it's fully grown.
Yep, and while I'm running, you can... It's also important to note you can click these user interfaces while you're running, so you can kind of check this out. So it's under Travel, Mount, and any one of the horses. It's your preference, or an elk, or a lion, or whatever. I believe it's recommended if you plan on going archer spec. A lot of people like the lion because it's a 2-seater mount with actually some attacks. And we're skipping the climbing the tree quest because the climbing the tree quest takes time and it's really slow. And the main goal of this early run is to get you out of the way for people in the launch because you want to get ahead of everybody else. Now this is the part I always screw up, so you want to pay a little bit of attention. So you talk to them, build on the house, talk to her again, you get a skill point, but we won't assign that yet until we're running to the next point. And then what I usually do is I will touch the bench at the back of the house and come back, which guarantees that the quest progress updates into... I did it again. I did it again.
You missed it?
Yep. It takes a little bit of time for the second quest to show up. And then you get another quest that says... No, this is rock elemental debris. Okay, so I guess that was it, completion. Yeah, you always want to check to make sure you have the completion there and that your waypoints moved down the road. Otherwise, it'd be tour the house.
A lot of people will argue at this point whether or not to do that rock elemental debris. It's a collection of 5 items, which can create quite a bottleneck. They respawn pretty quick, but if you find that there's a lot of people doing that quest, just skip it. Yep.
This one actually is a pretty good one because it's a kill quest, and depending on how large your group is, if you accidentally go over, there's actually some extra experience from a hidden quest by killing these nymphs. So by now you should have your second skill. Oh yeah, that's not good, and I just pulled the other one. Alright, well, you have mana... I'm going to help you focus down. Always help your teammates out, focus down. You do have mana pots and health pots, and we don't really use them too much. So feel free to spam them away on these early areas because you will get more from quests. And always go through, loot some of these coin purses because they will help you out later. You'll pick up a weapon in town that'll give you a little bit extra damage. Not a huge deal, but it does help. And most of these guys actually do have coin purses. There's no quick way to get rid of the roll versus pass command prompt. So it will fill up your screen if you keep doing it. So we're just going to do 5 nymphs. We're going to do a normal turn in so you get a little bit more experience because you do need to be a little bit higher level at the end of this. You need to be 16 to get the 60th
yes,
star.
To get the 60th star, you need to be 16.
Oh, and I just picked up an extra one. Oops. Be careful when you're clicking. Alright. So, this is another part that a lot of people will mess up. So you go into this town and we're picking up all the quests. It's a little bit tricky because some of these quest parts don't have symbols that show you the next bit. So here, we skip the video, we pick up the next quest. If you spam F and G, it helps out a lot. And then you have to hit this table. This one is very hard to see. There's an animation, you can skip it with escape. And then you talk to the guy again. Alright, now we have... Oh, and my bag vanished from the restart. But now we have a Gilda Star. You can actually put the Gilda Star onto your hotbar, so you can keep track of how many you have. It's kind of useful. Alright, so the quest over here, after you pick up everything in town, you gotta pick 4 of these flowers. You can't...
3.
You don't want... Oh, 3. You don't want to pick any ones too close to the Nui Shrine, because sometimes you can't interact with those. And then, do we have to kill something over here as well? No, these
Nope.
are more the nymphs, so you could have ran to town with the nymph quest and killed the nymphs here while you're picking flowers. I'm gonna risk it going closer to the shrine, and it paid off.
All the ones around the shrine you can get, you just have to stand in the right place as far away from the priestess as possible.
And the main goal is to try and get this done as quickly as possible, so it's not always the best. Now, a lot of your menus and stuff you can interact with while you're running, so like I'm going to be dropping quests and stuff as we run to the next area. And this one is the hardest quest of all to get. You have to click on the cat and click on the book.
It's incredibly difficult.
Yep. I have skipped it every single time because I keep forgetting the cat's there and you have to run back, so. And pick a bow because you have bow damage. Oh no, I think I got the sword. Oops. Yeah, the sword is that one, the bow's the next quest. And again, pick up these wind shrines. You don't have to spend your mana because we have a lot of fighting up ahead. So yeah, you can actually quickly get rid of quests by just unchecking the box if you accidentally picked up some quests while you're running. Oh, and we got some more skill points.
Yep, second tree.
Yep, our second tree. I'm going to go with the Songcraft tree, and I believe Sark is taking the Shadow tree.
Yep, Shadow play.
And what I'm going to do...
You want to put your first point into the passive for archery, though. You have to have that. It's plus 8% move speed. Just do it.
Yep. And then I'm also picking up the Startling Strain, which is a 2-second stun from Songcraft. If you have the Shadow tree, you don't pick up anything at this point.
We're going to be running this on 2 different specs just to show you guys a little bit of variety, depending on how you want to do it. For these, you have to loot them.
Yep. Yeah, so the stun is one of the things I usually open with. It gives you a nice couple seconds. It does reduce your damage that you have to take coming in. My rotations are bad. I'm not used to playing Archer, so you're seeing me just pretty much just button mashing at this point. But what you generally want to do is you want to generally hit your arrow and your, what is it, the charge bolt piercing shot in close combat, or close sequence. Which one first do you do?
Charge bolt first, and then piercing shot for maximum slowage.
Alright, and then we grab a little shrine here, and as we run down the street, we'll plant a tree. And that turn-in is just down the street the rest of the way. And I've been starting to conserve my mana because a lot more of the quests are going to be kill up here, so I'm going to hit more of the shrines and do a little bit less dashing, unless I have some short periods of time. Another quest I screw up is, after you talk to these people, you run inside this building. You do not run towards the quest marker. And just again, mash F and G. You have to pick something up off this weapon rack. It's hard to see if you don't have the right camera angle.
And then don't forget to come back out.
And then you talk to this guy again, yeah. Sorry, I jumped over you a bit.
You're fine.
And then don't sprint all the way up here. You kind of want to slow down a little bit because you need some mana for this fight. This is one of the fights where I found having the stun is actually useful because it'll buy you a few extra seconds of time, or if you need to back away. You have to get right up next to him, click on the sword on the quest bar, and give it actually a second to activate, because it has to get down this bar down here. If you move around, it doesn't activate. So hit 2, 3, and then stun, and then I just spam away arrows while I back away. Basically, whenever you have any of your skills, your archery skills off cooldown, you spam them. And then you go back to spamming your main attack. And I am in deep trouble. I'm going to pop some pots as I back away. I'm not backing away fast enough. I may actually die here. Oh, nope. You only have to get him down to about 3/4 death. And so basically, don't do what I did and not back away as much. You always want to be backing away on that fight. You will not de-aggro him if you keep backing up. Education through incompetence.
Ha.
And now we have the one where you definitely want to pick up this movement speed buff because you were really slow while carrying your mount. So we're doing this quest as if you were not a patron. If you are a patron, it's highly recommended for maximum speed. You go in and pick up one of those mounts. It'll be delivered to you automatically. And that will allow you to skip this entire quest section and shave about, what, 4 or 5 minutes off your time?
Yeah, easily. This quest in itself takes a couple of minutes, so if you're going for really good speed, you want to buy a mount off the marketplace if you can at the very beginning. Which probably should be mentioned at the very beginning.
Yep. And if you're patron, then you also have the enhanced glider. I'm actually taking a little bit of a side path to pick up this, and I think you're actually faster than me, so maybe going straight for this area rather than picking up the extra speed buff time.
No harm in dashing on this one because you're not going to be using mana.
Yeah. What am I?
Anytime soon.
I completely forgot I had a dash. Lovely. Alright, this one has a lot of periods of time where you have to wait on the animal. So you talk to the stable hand, he gives you the Vita seed, you accept your quests, it's a good time to have the bag open. You right-click the seed, plant it down, and then while that's growing, it takes 30 seconds to grow, come over here, and you want to grab 3 times from the well. This will guarantee that you have at least 3 buckets. I got 5, so I'll just grab the 3rd one just for the sake of showing you. It's no harm in having the extra water buckets. I think I just canceled it, but whatever. You need 2 water buckets for this and 1 water bucket for a later quest, so it's good to have them in your inventory. And so you just quickly harvest, turn your quest in, pick your color. I like the white one.
Me too.
And then you now have a pet in your bag. You click it, you right-click it, and place it down. You have to click it a couple times because it's an animal. They have rotation. And then you just press F to keep interacting. You're amusing your baby, you're feeding it, you're giving it water, bath, and love.
This is also a very good time to go through your bags and open up anything that you're going to be using. Don't bother wasting time opening stuff that you're not going to use.
Yep. Basically, at this point, you want the sword and the bow. And the shield.
Yep.
The loot is also useful as Songcraft, so I usually open that up too. Alright, and then by that time, your pet is ready to be watered. So you're going to give it the water, and then you'd have to bathe it. So this saves you 2 trips back to the water by picking it up early. Scrub the little guy clean. He's perfectly white. I don't know why he's dirty, but he's happy about it. If you click on him, you'll notice that there's a little timer sometimes between stages. There's 9 seconds left. I'm using this time to go in here, interact with G, and buy the Shabby Pet Leggards. These ones will give you extra speed on your mount. And by the time I'm back, he's ready to go. We dance a little bit. I don't know why he likes the dancing. I'm terribly bad at it. And then he'll grow up. And I actually have the extra cash, and you press F again, you get your mount. You can pick up the full armor set. It helps a little bit, but it's not a big deal. And I put it on my hotbar, so that way I can send this up. And I've already bound our mount and dismount buttons, so we're ready to go.
And you do not want to pick up this other quest from Latios. That is the Flamingo quest that we skip. And don't forget to put your boots on.
Yep, and so you have to open up your pet's inventory by clicking on the question mark, you click the boots, and now you have the boots on, and it gives you a 5% speed buff. Alright, and you always want to keep hitting your dash whenever it's off cooldown. Later on, we are going to have a Songcraft skill, Quick Step, which will give you additional speed and it can be used in combination. You want to hit dash or the run first, and then your Songcraft buff, and that'll get you the maximum speed. I think it's like a 40% speed increase, or this is a 50%, and it gives it like a 60 or 70 total percent. Here's the flamingos, but that's the quest we skipped. And then it's a sharp right at the guard. Kind of hard to miss if you're, or hard to see if you're not paying attention to it. And I'm just going to let you talk for the rest of this one, because you have a way better way down that I don't die on.
Okay. Most of this is pretty self-explanatory as far as following the quest.
And if you're in a group, pick which side you're going on. I'm going to take the left.
I'll take the right.
Alright. You can get a little hung up on these staircases if you try to put too many of the same animal through, or same people through it. I'm very impressed that this thing is able to go upstairs at this kind of a rate. And sometimes overshoot or cross over and have issues there, but I usually push people out of the way.
Alright, so leaving this area, you want to come through this crack in the wall, right through the vines.
You walk, you do not sprint, and you pull back on the S key. You should hopefully land up here.
And if you land up here, your animal will become stunned, but it will not die.
106 health.
And that's it.
Yep. And you might want to wait a second or two, because I did get down to 47 on that second jump. So, yeah.
Just don't jump down anything else.
Yep.
I don't know why people insist on jumping out that side down there, because you can jump. It's not jumping. Why aren't you jumping?
Yeah. And you're exiting the city on the same side you came in. It's the left side. You don't go over on this right-hand side. That's just other stuff we're not dealing with. And for... Oh, for crying out loud.
What did you do?
I forgot to turn it in up top.
Oh my goodness.
I turned it in, but I didn't pick up the next quest.
That's right. You'll catch up.
Yep.
You guys can follow me down this way.
So, yeah, this is a big time-consuming thing, so make sure you have your quest before you jump out the window. That's going to hurt our time a little bit.
That's alright, you'll catch up.
Yep. And that's one thing you want to...
Oh, go ahead. Once you get down here towards this boat, there's a bounty and there's another quest. If you did the flamingo quest, there will be another quest. Just ignore them all. We're going straight up the path.
Wait, what am I missing?
What'd you do?
Oh, I'm such a dumb... So I had... you might want to pull your quest marker thing away from your mini-map, because if you have it on top of your mini-map, you might think there's still a quest marker that you have to go to.
That's nice.
Yep, so I just wasted that entire time going back. We had actually completed that correctly.
Okay.
And 146 health is enough to survive that drop. Especially if you land on that rock that I did, so... Now I just have to rush to catch back up. And so if you're doing this in a multi-person group, keep together as much as you can, but if they know what they're doing, there are points where you can catch up. I was wondering why it was down on the corner of the staircase, but it just didn't register me. It was just my overlays causing issues.
Very nice.
So I'm going to take some more dangerous routes to catch up, just cutting across some corners.
I'm waiting on you, don't worry about it.
Yep. And so what are the times for optimal? What are the records?
I'm pretty sure the record right now for a mostly solo run is 1 hour and 13 minutes.
Yeah, and if you can do anything under 90 minutes, that's still a really good time. And for the most part, no one's going to have the ability to put down 4 small cottages in around an hour and a half.
Over here.
So we got distracted by the shiny book. You don't want to set your waypoint. Well, it might not be a terrible idea to set your waypoint if you're doing it solo, because that way you don't warp all the way back to the original starting area. So the little tome book that's purple over there would be a good place to set it at. But
finish your quest.
Oh, and you can use the Eye of Truth from on top of your mount. I always forget that, and so if you don't see any quest point to go to, you know you've done it wrong. Glad I got to demonstrate doing it wrong. I think we've hit the point where we're pretty much just green quests only here, more or less.
For a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, once we get up here, we're doing all of them.
Ah, okay, this is all of them. I always have trouble remembering that point. There's another book if you want to hit it on the way, if you're waiting for a group. It's probably a good idea to mark your points, except after we've got the... What is it, Shade Run? I never remember that place's name.
Windshade?
Yeah, Windshade. You can actually, if you sneak along the back here, you stay out of the way of the rest of your group, grabbing the quests. And then you can still grab all of the quests. There's some skill upgrades and stuff like that, but I'm not going to touch them yet, but we are level 7. Actually, this is probably a good place to do that. Skills window. Actually, no, we don't have any skill points available, so it doesn't really matter. So this is gather from the Mandragonas, and then pick 3 flowers, or 5 flowers. And the Mandragonas will aggro on if you get too close. And I totally separated from you, which just made that a little bit more inefficient.
That's right.
Yeah, if you focus them down, they actually don't do too much damage to you. You can get through this area without having to heal or do anything special. I'm taking a little bit of damage because I'm not kiting, because I'm used to being a bit more tanky. Where is your corpse? One of these ones over here.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you just go run around and tap on some of the corpses, you can sometimes loot other ones, but it's not worth running too much around. Alright, that's 3 of 5. You can, if you want to shave a little bit of time, you know, turn these in early. You get less experience for it, so you might have some issues at the end. But if there's this area is just absolutely full and there's hard to find these lilies, you only need to do 3 to do a minimum turn-in. And the same for killing the mandrakes and collecting their stuff. Did you kill a 5th one yet or not?
No, not yet.
Okay. I will pull this one over here then. Again, these kill quests are really easy if you have a larger group doing this, because pretty much everyone just kills 1 or 2 of them and you've got your number. But this is a gather, so it's kind of a pain. Every time as soon as you get on your mount, always pop your sprint. Although, admittedly, I'm now sprinting in random directions, so... And I'm going cloth. You can go leather if you prefer more archery. Just know whatever your build's going to be. These early gear will be overrun before too long anyway. And sometimes you can get stuck here and not get back on your mount. Alright, major choke point. Field of Honor participants. If you're doing this in a large group, you will need to kill these after clicking on them with the orb, because they'll turn orange, which means they won't attack you, and that actually counts as quest credit. But if they're all orange, you have to kill them to get another green or yellow one to respawn.
You also, at this point, want to check your inventory for a quest item that you picked up from the Mandrogos.
Yep.
You'll turn it in down here at the next quest spot.
And you can activate that while you're on the mount. It's good for a little bit of extra experience. If you don't have that one, don't go back for it. It's not really worth it. Bow is the first slot. Damn it, stupid cultist. Leave me alone.
And then for this quest, with these cultists, you want to avoid the bottleneck right by the quest giver and go all the way down the road to the last group that's on the left.
Yep, and the cultist can be dangerous if your mount has been weakened, like mine is. I'm going to desummon it for this bit. You don't really need any of your mount levels early on like this, so it's not necessary to always have it. It's a few seconds you lose resummoning it, but it's better than burning your only revive potion. And loot them if you have the chance, but they're not necessary to loot, so it's not a big deal. And as you can see, a group of 2 really cuts these through really quickly if you're just picking at them. If you focus them down, you get through this a lot better than if you spread out. Alright. So yeah, it takes me another second to summon my horse. I'm going to keep calling him a horse because I started out as a Nuian, so they get horses to start. Alright. Alright, you earn a new skill point here. It doesn't get assigned. Regardless of either tree you go for, there's nothing you want until level 10. Alright, so here with this quest, you have multiple ways to turn in. This is the first time we've encountered this mechanic. If you are new to the game, basically what it means is if you kill these, get some of them, you get 10 points. If you free some people, you get 10 points. You actually have a boss, which is not spawned right now, that gives you 20 points. If you're in a solo...
They're just elites.
Yeah, or elite.
This guy right here.
Yeah. If you're solo, might not want to hit them, but if you are in a group, it's easy to... Oh, someone else pulled that one. So you also grab these mushrooms, so if someone's pulled your mobs and something like that, you can move along. You actually want to work your way down to this other end of the field, because that's where your turn-in is, so...
We got one on us.
Oh, excellent. Means we don't have to hunt them down. Yeah, so look around for the mushrooms, grab them when you can. They're usually the harder thing to get if there's a lot of people in the area, because it's the only thing really limited. And there's usually 2 boss spawns, so if you want to go the boss way for fewer things to kill, you can do it that way. Nope, I don't see the bosses.
Behind.
Nope, thank you.
There's a priest right back there.
Nice. I will go pull them then. So, using your basic arrow attack allows you to get the tag on the mobs, and then that way only your party can claim them. Prevents other people from stealing your kills. Stuns work really well on these priests, because they can't quite get to you in time before you can kill them down. With 2 people. A lot of kiting if you're just single person. Another acolyte. Again, just kite, use your archer skills whenever they're off cooldown. Alright, we're 20 points away, so if we get a boss, we can finish it, or just pick off these 2, because they're closer. And then, it's faster, going over here to do your turn-ins, because the turn-in for this guy is back over the other direction. Make sure you sit here and pick up both quests. I often leave the second quest. And then mount up, and away we go. And so already we are up to 9 Gilda Stars. And have another set of armor. Nope. Way to dismount. Oh, shortcut. Nice.
Except it's not really, because there's all mobs in the way.
Yeah, and unfortunately these are the ones we want to pick up and fight after we get the next quest. It shaved a little bit off. And apparently that is a very busy rabbit. He's probably late for an important date. Okay, these mobs, you gotta be careful of picking up the envoys, but for the most part, these low-level ones can be handled solo. Stun is really useful against them, but in a pair, you're pretty good shape. Does Dark Envoy count? Oh, you need one of the...
You need one.
Envoy. Okay. Well, I will help you with that as soon as I finish this guy off. This one is really good to save your stun for, because look at that, it's a couple seconds of they can't do anything. And on physical mobs, that absolutely wrecks them. And then it basically comes down to finishing off the rest of the 8. Now, one thing you might have been tempted to do if you're familiar with Songcraft is picking up the other skill on the tree that combos to give you some fear. We've tested it out, and you do not have enough skill points to get all the skills you need by the end of the 60 run. So you generally skip that. You're going to lose a little bit of the fear, but it will get you all the skills you need to survive solo without it. If you're still taking the, what is it, Shadow Caster?
Shadowplay?
Shadowplay tree, then you still should have several skill points unassigned at this point. Also, until you actually do some of the better weapons for Songcraft, you're not likely to be doing a whole bunch of good anyway with that magic attack. How many are we at? 6 of 8. If this gets congested, this is another one of those ones you can complete early. You still get your reward, you still get the next quest, you just get less experience. But...
Oh, now he's stuck.
Oh. Yep, avoid tanking them into the trees, they get stuck. There we go, got him off around it, if you want to finish him. You get overwhelmed, the stun is useful, because then you can back up again. It's useful until you get the drop back with the Shadow play. Because it gives you a little bit of second and breather if you're getting beaten on. It's also really good to stun a secondary mob while you still focus down the first. Again, I'm going with the top one. Go with the bottom one if you want leather.
Yep.
Alright, so it looks like we're both level 9 now. We have 9 Gilda Stars. And the way the Gilda Stars work, if you guys are thinking, oh, well, that's half the time, and we're only at 9 already, most of the early ones have been delayed and have been added to later quests, so people can't rush the early 15 to get the house. The house takes most of it, and then I think it's like the last minute. How many you get? Like 15 or something?
Yeah, in the last 2 or 3 minutes you get 14 Gilda Stars.
Okay, and I accidentally took an extra quest there, so as we were running down this road, I'm going to get the clearing the road off of my quest tracker.
Yep, at this point you should have 3 after picking up the one that will start your Scarecrow quest. You should have 3 active quests.
Yep.
And we're done with this area. We move on.
And so at this point, if anyone is doing the human starting area, this is the area where you're going to meet up with your friends. And if you're going to run this with a group of friends, it's good to have them all the same race. Although, you know, mix racing it, and if you both know your starter area, it'll work just fine. But from what I've seen, the elves generally have the better racials. Extra swim time and extra swim speed will help you out on the ocean. Plus, I think the starter area is just slightly faster. I don't know if the human times are comparable.
They're close. They're pretty close.
Yeah. For the most part, it's not going to make enough difference. Anyone who's not running this quickly will not beat you out in launch. And will not have anywhere near the same level of Gilda Stars you have at launch, so you're still good. Okay, Dark Cultists. I hate this one. Oh, you already had that one. Okay.
Yeah,
so you need 1 scout. You need 1 scout and 8 of the others.
The scout is the only one you have to loot.
Yep. So make sure you're at least paying attention to your partner on the scout one. Now the protectors probably are better if you're a ranged class to grab, but don't be picky. You may have to desummon your mount because some of the casters do have fireballs that target multiple people. The scouts count as total?
Yes, they do.
Okay, good to know. Yeah, so whenever you get overwhelmed, pop your stun. And you can loot while running past them. You don't even have to stop, so... A little bit of extra silver will help you get your farm started up, but not necessary if you're just going straight for stars. Alright, 3 more. See if you can not pull the group. Yep. See, so this is the guy who's casting double. My mount is getting hit. If you take him down quick enough or you use your stuns, you can usually kill him before your mount gets severely injured. You get 1 chance with your mount when you get the mount. You get a revive potion. I don't know if you get that if you don't have, if you buy it from the store. Oh wow, you pulled a lot. Okay, I'm gonna work this one down.
Only 1 extra.
Oh, sorry, I thought you were the other one. That's...
Nope.
I need to focus on blue names. Yep. And that's... we don't have a stun right now, so I can't help out. That's a really good time to use a stun if one of your friends gets stuck or something on a couple mobs. And we have 8 of 8. So this one you have to run back to. This is one of the few times you have to backtrack for a quest turn-in, so remember to do so. I always go with the sword. The loot is nice for Songcraft, but not necessary. And remember, again, you only open those when you actually have to.
If you're planning on running duo or solo, it's probably a good idea to open your armor and stuff. Definitely weapons, no matter what you're doing, because you need those stats. But as far as armor goes, it's pretty much if you start having trouble killing stuff, you might want to open up your armor.
Yeah, it only takes a few seconds if you sit down and open a whole bunch of it, so...
So we're going to turn in the one for the Scarecrow, but because we're not level 10, we don't get the follow-up to start the small Scarecrow questline. So once we're done with this area, we will come back and do it.
Yep. And then this is the one area we definitely want to set our waypoint at, because this point will save us, what, 5 minutes, you said?
Something like that.
Yeah, this one's a really hard one to get if there's a crowd. So you may have to jiggle a little bit to get to the quest person. And I think there's like 2 movies on this one. Nope, just 1.
And at this point, you're also going to be picking up Zephyr quests and elementals. You want to skip them. We're not doing them.
Yep. If you need extra levels and you're only going to stop at 15, you get them on the way back. You skipped the bind.
Good call.
And you actually can cut right along the river here.
Yep.
If I keep jumping off my horse because it's next to my sprint button, there we go. That's the reason why I say spam your sprint as often as possible, because then it gets as few times on cooldown as possible. You gotta weave between these 2 mobs and then around this rim a little bit more, but as long as you're above the waterfall, you can shortcut quite a bit of time here. Well, not a lot, but... every bit of efficiency helps. So yeah, I'm going to get rid of my elementals. That was not you.
And then from here on out, we're only doing story quests. You only do the green ones. It's going to be hard not to pick up extra quests. I do it naturally, so I end up picking up extra stuff sometimes, but we're only doing the green ones.
Alright, now you're going to demonstrate the correct way to do this. Or we don't have to, but...
Nah, we don't have to right now. But if you are doing this and having trouble because of the giant cobble, you can come out here with your mount, not riding it, and it will attract the aggro from the giant cobbled if it's there, so that you can just run in and grab the brazier real quick and come back out.
Yep, and if you had hit level 10, you'd see a new quest over there, but you don't. Oh, damn it, I didn't search the brazier. Okay, well, I'm going to show the proper method of doing it, because for some reason I searched it and then maybe moved or something. So you dismount, it will gather the aggro for you as you run around behind the kobold, because you keep it on the... it tends to stay on that side. And actually, the kobold didn't even see me this time, so I'm going to get away scot-free. Oh, shit. Nope. Not scot-free. Come on, mount. And away! So, that's sort of how it goes. Skip your movie so you can get out of there quicker, because he will follow you a little bit, but not all the way. Alright, we're good. Back on track. So a couple minor hiccups on my part still, but we are now up to 11 Gilda Stars. We are almost level 10, so the next Nui Shrine we have will give us another Nui Star as the free quest. If you had picked up some of the other quests that we said to skip, like the Wind Elementals, you may have hit 10 there. And I'm not doing this... Actually, how close are you? What's your percentage?
I'm at 88.95.
Okay, so it's a 4% difference. I'm on a free-to-play account, and Sark has a patron account. So the 10% experience difference does not really speed this up in any appreciable way. Big slowdown if you talk to that quest giver right in that corner there, but you're not picking up any non-green quests because he gives you a pack that you have to walk all the way over here. It takes forever. Alright, remember we are picking up gliders.
Yep.
So, shortcut. Luckily we have elk or mountain goats or whatever crossbreed these things are. Now, are you heading for... Yep, you're heading for the break in the wall.
It's faster to go this way because there's a couple of mobs at the stairs down there through the gates, and this is a little bit faster.
Yep. And just spamming jump will get you up most cliffs on these mounts. They have very Skyrim-like physics. Alright, now here is one of your major choke points if there's a lot of people here. This is where it's important to use your #1, or your quick basic bow to tag the noblewoman whenever she respawns. So you can just keep tab targeting. I usually just stare at this general direction, just tab target. It'll bounce between some of the residents and whatnot, and then it'll eventually land on her when she respawns.
She pretty much spawns exactly where I'm standing.
Yep. And there's a couple seconds after a respawn before you can actually attack the mob, so that's why you get her tab target and you just spam out your normal attack. Oh, and there she is. So spamming, 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 and she becomes targetable, and there we go. She's a good one to use your stun on, because then she doesn't kill your elk. And I just learned you can hold down your basic attack, and you will keep auto-attacking.
Yeah.
I've been tapping it every time.
Nope.
Efficiency gain!
You can hold the button to continuously attack if it has no cooldown.
Alright, back through the break in the wall, and straight down the cliff. Love Skyrim horses.
If you have a glider, feel free to glide down from there. Not necessary. You can beat the people that you're with, though. It is just a little bit faster. Ass blood.
Oh, you went... Okay, I see how you go through here. Alright.
It's a little tricky.
Yep. Alright, now you have your next skill set, so as we walk up the mountain... Did I pick up the quest? Yes, I picked the quest. So as we head up the mountain towards where we get our gliders, you want to be picking your next one. So it's either Shadowplay or Songcraft, whichever one you didn't pick up before. And you pick up Drop Back from Shadowplay, you pick up Quick Step, and you pick up Endless Arrows. And you want to put... I put my... Songcraft. Songcraft will mix up with your run. If you do the run first, and then you do your Songcraft buff, it will stack, and you will get going much, much faster. Alright, so this is one of the few other yellow detours we're going to do, because this gets us the basic free glider. If you already have your patron glider, skip this entirely and just run off the edge behind the camp. But if you're running the patron glider, you grab it here, and your goal is to break 5 boxes. If you drop down off the cliff right here, there are 5 boxes right on this house, almost never taken, unless random noobs come through. So one person can go through this if you're doing solo. If you're doing 2-person, there are some boxes on the way out we can hit, so... Go around behind the house, and over to the crown. If you can do this without aggroing the wizard, it's great. You also want to make sure you double-check. This is one of the big double checkpoints. Make sure you actually have this. If multiple people interact and you do not have the Bloody Crown complete, and that still has a blue bar, you will have to repeat this area. You usually don't notice it until you hit the turn-in. And if you go back around the same house, the boxes should have respawned and allowing us to get all that we need. And I just need 2. So a 2-person can do this one without any problem. And then you do a dash, you do your Songcraft buff. Songcraft buff is AoE, so your friends in the area can get the buff as well. And we're now up to 13 Gilda Stars. Now, if you have the non-basic glider, gliding down would be good. If you're going to get this glider, don't even use it. It is not useful here. I have tested it out. You are way slower than you should be. But do make sure you go into your bag and equip your glider. And where is my horse? I think it vanished during the cutscene. So just go straight down the cliff and keep up your dash and whatnot and head into town. And you can refresh your quick step frequently. And there's a Nui Shrine right here, which is convenient because we can pick up that daily quest on the way. So that's the only one you really want to watch out for. You just talk to her twice, and she gives you a Gilda Star. Boom, 14. So we're almost up to the ability to buy your own house if you want to stop there, or if you're going to continue rushing, there's more to be, more stars to be gained. And now we're at, oh, I thought that was 15 there. Darn.
That's 15, isn't it?
Report to Mayor Jed. Nope. The next turn in is 15.
Oh, okay.
So ignore the Haunted Ruins. That's one of the ones we're going to get rid of. And we're also going to get rid of the Wind Warrior, because I've still had that on my bar for a while. And so keep spamming it. I like these hills. These hills are a place where you might, if you keep scanning, if you find wild ginseng while you're scanning over the side of the road, that's the only real plant you want to kind of stop and harvest, because it's worth, you generally get 2 to 3, and each one is worth 2 gold. And you can take 2 quick steps for every dash. I found a couple different wild ginsengs up here. I've never seen them anywhere else. I don't know if it's just a higher spawn or if I just got lucky. But I usually swing my mouse side to side so I can pick up on which ones are trees, which ones are saplings, and you can tell which ones you cut down. If you're not rushing for time, cutting down logs will help you build your house. And then we go up the side path here, right? Yeah.
Yep.
It's another one of those ones that you're going up the hill and you often miss it. Don't try jumping soldiers, it doesn't work. Alright, now this is the most tricky, well, most skillful bit of the entire run.
So far.
Yeah. There's a couple bosses later that also add to it. But basically, what you do is once you get inside, I prefer desummoning my mount.
I prefer to have it for easy access.
Yeah. Alright, so what you do is you stand between the guards, and you turn in the quest.
Where I'm at.
Yep, right where she's at. And you can actually do it off these other ones, and I'm actually going to attempt it off one of the other ones. I'm going to take a bit of damage in the process. But what you basically do is you talk to the quest giver. He'll give you a letter. You read it to the guard. The guard will attack you. But if you do it right, you can get the turn in. So I squeeze over to the point where I can't see the quest giver anymore, or I can just barely see it. Usually close my inventory for this one. This is where click targeting is actually kind of important. So you click him. Oh, yep. See, I'm not close enough. Yep, there we are. So, turn in quest, and you have to do this, you have to spam it a couple times. Alright, you click target this guy, read the letter. As soon as that bar is done, talk to this guy. Again, spam it, and then run out of here. You'll take a little bit of damage, but then you just double jump. This is why that double jump bind earlier was important. And you take your glider into town. Depending on your glider, you can glide fairly large distance to the next... Or is there another quest to turn in back up there?
No, that's it.
Yeah, you can glide a fair distance down this way. Well, I guess I'm going that way. So, probably going to be a little bit slower if you're on horseback below me. If you're on one of the donator gliders, you're going to be going a lot faster. Your goal is this house over here. I'm aiming for just this side of the bridge because I'm not going to make it over there. I'm pushing forward to make sure I go down as quickly as possible because you have a lot of altitude, and this glider is slow. What I'm actually going to do, since I'm going to get close enough to the land over here, I'm actually going to drop down and get on my horse up here. So, trick is making sure you play chicken with the ground a little bit and get as high up as you can, but not too low that you're going to take damage. And then you get on... Oh, I just summoned and desummoned my mount in one movement. Alright, there we are. And I just broke my rule of saving the dash to jump the bridge. So if you have both the dash and the Songcraft, you can jump this bridge. If you don't, you aim for the side of the bridge. So yeah, this would be the point I'd dash, but I'm going to just go over this way, so the horse swims like 2 strokes, and away you go.
So, for future reference, whenever you get here, this is a decent place to do some of these quests. If you're aiming to get 60 Gilda Stars, you need to have a couple extra levels by the time you're done. So doing these couple of quests here, as long as there's no bad bottlenecking and you don't see all the mobs wiped out, kind of like they are right now, it's probably a good idea to do some of those quests.
This is also a point where I usually like opening my armor, because we're going to head into an area where it's pretty much constant quests. So getting some new armor and bows and stuff out now will help you. And usually by this point...
Go ahead.
No, go on. I was going to make something about labor, but they changed it.
While you're opening up stuff, you can equip stuff at the same time, so you don't have to wait to stop casting to equip armor and weapons. You can do it while you're identifying things.
That was actually a handy tip. And you have to keep track of which ones are actually the better stats. Yeah, there we go. Alright, and then your other thing is, this is why we had that bind back there. We hit recall, and we're heading back to Windshade. Make sure before you do this teleport that your next quest is at Windshade. This ends up saving several minutes off your run. I think I picked up a couple extra quests, but what can you do?
And since we're 10 now, we are going to turn in the quest that we currently have, and then do the small scarecrow quest for a Gilda Star. Super quick, not difficult at all.
Yep, and we're now up to 16 Gilda Stars, so if you do the small scarecrow quest, you can have your house from Mirage Isle. There's a portal right here to go purchase it if you're only interested in getting your first house and a small farm. And how are we doing for time?
I'm at just over an hour.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got your house in on about an hour. If you spend less time chatting and failing the quest like I did, you're good to go. And if you had picked up extra buckets of water, so I guess maybe doing 3 or 4 when you're doing your pet, you won't have to run to the well like I did there. And then, yep, you water a corn seed.
And then your next quest is to plant a potato eye seed,
yep.
Potato eyes, and the seed merchant is right across the way.
Yep, they're in the corner. They're kind of tucked away if you don't know where to look. Also, you can see that this one is really packed. Potatoes are on the first page. You only need 1. This place is super, super packed. You might not have planting room, so you can actually go outside the farm and plant if you have the extra labor. Yeah, it doesn't look like there. Oh, there's a spot. Now, cool thing is, you can plant, and that's all you have to do. So you just plant it and you ignore it. You might come back for it later, but no one cares.
And then when you're ready to find the auctioneer, he's right around the corner. Yep. And there's a Gilda Star.
So that's 17 Gilda Stars. And you're right in your portal, you can jump in, get your cottage, and you're good to go. And again, if you need an extra little bit of leveling to get this quest chain completed, you can do the breeze elementals that you skipped before. Make sure you pick up your Scarecrow design. He gives you free lumber and tax certificates. These are really useful for claiming your house as well. And I think it's enough to claim both your house and your farm, right?
I'm sorry, what?
The 25 tax certificates, you can claim both a small farm and a house. And
I believe so.
Go.
And
also, at this
off
point,
to Dewstone.
Yep. And at this point, you probably picked up the endless arrows. I usually replace that with the basic, or replace the base attack with that because that is your class spammable. And it's usually not too bad for mana consumption.
And once you get into Dewstone, you'll pick up this Black Straps quest for the blue salt. Just ignore it. Don't try to abandon it because it'll probably pop back up. You can just untrack it.
Yep. And you also want to untrack the Blue Salt Brotherhood quest you had, and anything you had from Dewstone Plains. The only one you really want is the unusual, or no, not unusual allies.
The Road to Dewstone.
Yep, Road to Dewstone. Also keep mind of your speed buff while you're in your inventory. I keep forgetting to re-up it. This is another tricky quest, if you want to explain how you do it.
We're not picking up the yellow quest. All you have to do is walk up to her / kneel, and then you're good to go.
Make sure you target her first, and then you're good to go. It's really kind of confusing because you're like, well, the target's over here, but what do I do? That's one of the ones where you have to read the quest text.
And be careful if you take a shortcut across here, because somewhere, hiding just below this cliff, are level 50 mobs that will jump out and attack you.
Alright, where did you take? You went more to the right?
Straight across, yeah.
Okay.
But it's still best to hit the bridge.
Yeah, if you make your way to the bridge, yeah, I think if you squeeze between the pillar and that golem thing, that works pretty well.
And then start keeping in mind that these mobs are at least 5 levels higher than you. So when you're weaving in and out of mobs, give yourself plenty of room.
Yeah, even just passing aggro might knock you off your horse, and if they get a stun or something, you're pretty much dead. And I'm doing a very bad job of using Songcraft, even though I consider it my main class. Also, watch out around the areas around here, because there's also more of those high-level mobs that are just normal players can reach them without noticing. Stick to the roads, you're pretty safe. You are just blazing through. It's not a big deal, we can catch up easy enough.
Oh yeah.
Also, hopefully everyone really enjoys the sound of the quick step music, because you're going to be hearing it a lot. I really hope it'll be possible to do modded sound packs, because playing Songcraft, you are going to get sick of those basic chords and riffs.
I heard somewhere that you can overlap it with music that you've written and composed, but I don't know how viable that really is. Like, I don't know if it's actually possible.
Yeah, I'll probably explore that in the future because, yeah. At the very least, I'm going to replace mine with a silence track so I don't have to keep listening to the thing. And we're up to 21 Gilda Stars, so they're going to start coming a lot faster and in a lot larger amounts now. Also, if you want to go into more of the Songcraft tree, there is a weapon merchant right here on the 3rd page. You can buy a scepter for your offhand. It will make your Songcraft a little bit more powerful. With the skill layout we have, it is not what we're going to be doing. But if you are going to spec into Songcraft and want to go heavier that way and are in a group and can afford to do it, by all means, stop off and grab it. And get stuck on NPCs. And I have no skill points to spend at this point, but we don't need to. Another one of the quests that you need a little bit more reading the quest text. You gotta step off, get on the bloodstain, and then click the poison detector.
And then, although it looks like the minimap shows it's faster to go around the coast for this quest, it is faster, in fact, to go up and around this mountain. Because the water, you get, your movement speed gets inhibited by water extremely bad.
Yeah, especially if you're trying to ride a mount through water, it's best to get off, desummon your mount, and swim with the sprint swim. You can sprint while swimming, but it's still faster this way. Alright, this is one of the 2 big bosses, isn't it?
Coming up.
Yep, you might have trouble soloing this. If you're in a two-person group, it's not bad. This is also a great beach. If you want iron deposits, there's just iron deposits. So. Alright, center one. Yep. So stuns come in handy here, and just keep spamming away with your infinite arrows, or whatever it's called. And they go down pretty quick. Middle one again?
Left.
Alright. Yep, and this is where the drop back will help a lot if you're kiting solo, because you can get away from them quicker. Also, it seems whenever you go into a cutscene, your quick step will debuff, so make sure you always rebuff after you're having a conversation. Alright, now for the fun part. Do not aggro the priestesses. I have done it twice. It's best to use your Songcraft debuff early, because it might recharge before you kill this guy. Luckily, these priestesses you can kite him back into because they do not aggro on you. They're only orange.
And you only get that quest completion from looting him, so make sure you loot him. And then we take a shortcut up this way.
Yep, and these thieves do aggro on you, so do be careful. I think you got one trailing you, but he's physical, so you don't have to worry. Be mindful of your party if you're doing this in a group, because if they have stuff on them and die, it'll slow you all down. Taking a couple seconds to point out they're being followed, or if they have a mob and helping them pick it off, will save you a long time and a lot of headache in the long run.
Or if someone's hitting their mount, it's a good idea to point it out to them. Take the aggro if you can, so that their mount doesn't die.
Everybody gets a single mount revive, otherwise you have to find a stable hand and you have a 30% debuff and they fall over every time any enemy hits them, which can really slow a party down. Although admittedly the Songcraft buff will sort of balance that out, but then you're still just running normally instead of this wonderful stacked sprint. Alright, I'm going to rely mostly on you from here on out because I've only done this part once.
Okay.
So you
after that turn in, it's off to White Arden, which is off to the west. Don't go south, that's the wrong way. This is like the worst part, because it's nothing but running.
Yeah, and it also has that terrible, terrible battle area where you have to keep kiting and stuff.
Yes.
Which is the most dangerous boss fight? Or
no, it's just the one that I hate the most personally. Because unless everyone's paying attention and doing what they should, you're pretty much guaranteed to have like one person die in your group.
Yep. And as of our count, we're at 25 Gilda Stars.
Cool.
Oh, and you do not want to wander by these things too closely, because they will take about half your health off, even if you got the double sprint on. So make sure you give the mobs in the area a wide berth. Get back on the horse. I'm gonna have to move that from away from my sprint button. There's a gap with the boulder between the house. It's the easiest way to get in here. Straight to the quest giver. Alright, if you want to explain a bit about this next area as we approach.
So you're gonna get 3 quests total. 2 of them where you have to loot, kind of. This one, the first one you just talk to them. And it does some crazy stuff. And then you go back and turn it in. And then you have to... Oh.
Yep. Desummon your mount for this, because it's very important.
Now, you see it starts gonna pop up enemies. All these guys are chasing me, so I'm going to freaking run, because they will kill you very quickly. The mages will pick them up if you run around in circles enough.
And if you have one member already tanking it, you can run through and grab the statue pieces while they run. Make sure you help them out, but some of them will show up and aggro on you. Like that was just did on me.
And like they're doing to me.
If you keep kiting around, those mages will handle them. They're very nice NPCs, helping you complete this quest quicker. Turn in whenever you see the stuff, and come back over here and grab as many things around the outside edges as possible, because it keeps you less likely to aggro. If you get aggro, just keep running around until they kill it. I like the ones in the back over here, because they are a bit easier to grab. Need 3 of them, and then you go turn in. And I did it without a hitch this time, which is saying something.
Well, not yet. Not quite done.
Oh. What's this part? Oh, use the sealing stone. Run around behind is often the best place. A little bit safer. More mages density up here. Make sure you read your quest to know if you're completing the quests, because I almost ran off.
And then from here, it's just a lot of running until we get to Marianople.
Yep. There is a glider spot, but if you are running with the default glider, the glider spot does not help you.
So I'll show you where the glider spot is, and then we'll probably have to run on this because we're not using them.
Yep. And I would stop getting... Alright, I need to fix that keybind, or just kick myself a few times every time I jump off my mount thinking I'm going to use sprint. Oh, you can see as many times as I've screwed up, I'm actually still keeping up pretty closely with the group, so it's not a big deal, but little inefficiencies bug me. Alright, so a waypoint to tell them which hill it is.
I don't know where it is on the map. I just know what it looks like.
Yep. That's why I said
so
waypoints.
Once you get up to this cliff here, this is the one you're going to want.
Okay, so it's the one that connects with the main road, you just kind of keep heading straight.
Yeah. This is a good spot to glide from.
Yep. Zigzag and
up here?
Jump a bunch to get up if you have trouble.
We're generally going in this direction right here. Now, if you don't have the better glider...
we should be able to do this. So, another trick, if you jump off your horse, dismount, and double jump, you can cancel your... Okay, my pet just landed. You can sometimes cancel the pet summon before your pet lands. Just try to get across this river, because you're not going to get too much farther. Although, if I angle myself to that hill right over there, I think that'll cut some time off.
But if you have the better glider, you can go straight over the wall into Marianople and pretty much land on the quest giver's head.
There is a prison in Marianople, though, so you have to be a little careful. You don't want to... I think it's that big tower. You don't want to go too close to that. I don't know. That's actually not too bad. I think there are some... Yeah, those are... Oh, these are orange mobs down here, so you're actually pretty safe landing in this field. Stay away from the ones near the campfires. Those are the red ones. And there you go. That actually went a lot more smoothly than the last time I did. I nearly didn't make the river. And you do have a couple red mobs as you get closer to this building, so you sometimes have to go a little bit more this way. So we are at 31 stars. This is where you would want to stop, and there's a portal in town if you had 2 houses as your plan to get with the Gilda Star Profits. Although I think the quick turn in this town would probably be what you want to do first, because you get a couple extra stars without too much extra time.
Yeah. It's faster if you hang a right through town.
Yep. Yeah, stay on the green track. It keeps you going where you need to go.
And then be prepared for the longest, most unnecessary mashing of F that you have in the game.
Yep, this is the only cutscene you can't press G to get out of really early, so just mash F about 12 times. And I just picked up another skill point. So this skill point, what do you actually recommend putting into this?
Let me look.
This one might not be a bad one to pick up Critical Discord at now. Unless you have something else that's critical for...
Honestly, I think I pretty much don't pick any abilities after this. I just go with what I already have, and it works really well.
Okay. If you combo with Critical Discord, which I'm going to demonstrate on my end, it combos with the stun from Songcraft, so if you hit it right afterwards, it will give them fear for a few seconds. So I will put that into my rotation.
And this coming up is one of the harder quests that you're going to run into. You have to kill 2 priestesses.
Yep.
And I am only level 13. These priests are level 22. You have to kill 2 of them. It's going to involve a lot of kiting. I suggest if you're archery, practice.
And cancel your pet summon, because you don't want it to die. Well, maybe you do. Alright,
For me personally, I usually keep myself about here because there is nothing behind me that I will aggro from dropping back.
Okay, and if you get right into range for the stun, so I can do stun and then fear follow-up right after it. Come on, there we go. Did not
And
execute
yes,
that
for
combo
those of
well.
you watching, I'm a clicker.
That probably would have helped me there. Some of the Songcraft things you can't actually click while you're moving, so trying to kite backwards there is a little touchy. Give me 3 seconds.
Yep.
It's 30-second cooldown on your stun, but it's really nice for... Oh crap, I just grabbed the wrong mob.
Oh, you just stunned her, you didn't do any damage. Oh, never mind.
Nope.
Just run out, run out.
Yep.
I can solo.
Yeah, so that was another point where coordination is important. These mobs will eventually lose aggro. There we are. All
That's
right.
it.
So we are at 39 Gilda Stars here. We go turn in up here on the hill. And now they're going to start coming fast and furious. Careful not to re-hit one of those guys as you run by them, because, yeah. Whoop. Run the boar. Yeah, these foxes are...
They're red.
Yeah, they're really high level. I was trying to click on one to get the level, but I kept swerving, so I'm not going to do that.
Tab target.
They're mid-20s. Oh, tab target, yeah.
Be careful when you're cutting through the trees. Aim a little low on your camera so that you can see the mobs.
Ah, very good tip.
Next up is the barn quest. It's a little tricky, but totally doable. Especially solo. It's very easy to do solo once you learn how to jump the fence.
Yep. In a group, this is quite a bit easier because you can team up and keep each other alive. Big trick here is abuse the fences. NPCs have to run around the fences, you can jump over them.
So what you want to do for this one is try and wait until you get most of the people in your group in here so that everyone can pick up the quest and get the next one. And then hurry and run out before the true form shows up.
Alright, ready to go?
He's on me. And then you run out until he resets.
Yep, you picked up a lackey as well, so you may have to run a little bit more. Yep, alright, he's reset. So
And then we take out a lackey.
Oh, we didn't get the orb inside.
No,
oh,
wait till he despawns.
Ah, right. So yeah, we pick off this lackey over here. So let me get this combo done correctly. Now he should be in fear. Yep. Oh, nope, he's not. Okay, well, screw the fear combo. Maybe it's not worth taking. Come on, get feared. Nope. Alright. So just keep spamming your archery skills. So the Songcraft skills are, other than the first stun, really unnecessary to combo. They seem to be more of a waste of time. But, yep. Simple back and forth across the fence, and he's a physical, so you can't do anything to us. That's a level 27 mob we're killing. Slowly but steadily. Not very much experience for it, though.
And then you loot him, because he has your item. And then you have to wait until the true form inside despawns, which takes a couple minutes.
Yep.
And these lackeys will not aggro to you. You can jump all around them.
Oh,
they
cool.
will not aggro to you.
And this is a good time, if you have any extra armor or anything else to open, might as well open it.
And the orb takes a few minutes to respawn as well, so if you're in a group of a couple of people, you might have to wait around for this one. And then just make sure you pick up your next couple quests.
Yep, and if you are in a group of a couple people, have whoever doesn't have the aggro grab the orb, because then by the time the true form despawns, it will have respawned. I forgot to do that because I was rushing out. So I thought I got hit, but I actually just got experience. This orb takes a while.
And then while your friends are waiting for the orb, because you ninja'd in and took it, you can go and complete the rest of your quest without them. Haha.
Actually, I don't think there's any... Is there any other ones that we actually need to be together on?
Nope, the rest of them are all turning them in.
So you can break from your group at this point if they don't have any issues. Yep, so I just got... We're up to 42 Gilda Stars. Also, there is a bit of a trick to get over to this point. You can either sail across, or if you want to stay on your mount to get to the other side of the river, you can cut across this dam here. Not a huge time savings, but you don't get knocked off by the windmill. Maybe that's not the greatest plan.
I didn't get knocked off.
I timed it just when I was skirting between the building and the windmill blade.
So yeah, after that, after the barn, everything is just run to the next place and turn it in. And you will gain your last, 14, 15 Gilda Stars very, very quickly. And that's it. That's the whole run.
Yeah, and if you want your 60th star, you do have to get to level 16, so find something to fight and grind on. Probably good to have your group around with you at that point.
Yep. And disregarding the intro stuff and explaining stuff, you're talking about just guild time. We're at an hour and 30 minutes, so this is completely doable in under an hour and 30 minutes.
And that was with me screwing up and running back a couple times, so yeah.
Yep. And minus all the intro stuff, I mean, that's easily an hour and 15 minutes, which is about what we shoot for.
Yeah, so if you're going for 4 cottages to hold down the most possible land, although it will suffer a nasty tax burden, I don't think you can do that without purchasing a few tax certificates to even lay them down. You have the app for that. But, yeah, that's the only reason you need to keep going. Otherwise, I'm at 46 right now, so I could just stop, grab 3 cottages, and be good to go. But, I mean, literally, I'm walking down the road to pick up another 13, so why not? And by now, we also picked up the farm basic blueprint, so you can put your farm down along with your houses, start growing up your crops, so that way you have the ability to start working on your trade pack quest for the large farm. It all works together. Now there is, was there a fig farm over here that you said for the trade packs? There was a fig plantation out near Marinople? I I don't know if that's in the area.
I believe there are wild olives that can be found
Olives.
in Marianople, and there are wild grapes that can be found in Cindermore. I'm sure a quick Google search will show you exactly where they're at. I don't know off the top of my head, so.
Yeah, so if you wanted to accelerate your quest to the large farm quicker, there you go. Also, much to my disappointment, all the azaleas on the side of this bridge are not pickable. Yes, that's a lot of alchemy supplies. So yeah, we did that, and you have a little bit of leeway, so if your pet dies, you have your pet revive potion, you know. As long as you keep your recall waypoints back not too bad, you don't have to worry too much if you die and have to port back to your friends. Actually, my recall is about to come off cooldown right now, so if you wanted to, you can get back to Windrun if your house is closer to that, or Windshade. I think Windrun's Skyrim. But if that's anywhere near your place that you want to end up, you're right there. And so, once we get all of these stars, I think... I don't know if we have any suggestions for the 60.
Oh, that dinged me to 14, completing all of it.
Nice. So you only have 2 levels to pick up to get to the 16. We're not going to show the grinding or anything on that, but
no.
Basically all you do is you hit a Nui shrine after you hit 16, you get your last star. So you may want to go if you don't know how to grind it and whatnot, or if it's later in the day and you can have your Nui quest reset, you may want to just grab your 3 cottages, place them down, get everything going, and leave a room for a last plot, and then pick up the last plot. And nothing loaded in on me there.
Half the time the NPCs don't load in for me, but if you know where the NPC is, you can mash F and it will find it.
Yep, and then you kneel at this guy to finish your last quest. And right there, 59 Gilda Stars. Also. Yep, and level 14. So 2 levels of grinding. You can pop a labor potion, and if you had patron labor regen, you'd probably have twice what I have right now, so you might have enough to... Well, no, the labor potion would probably be a terrible idea at this point, unless you have a labor pot from the store. And that's assuming you're patron. This was this entire run was picking up the pet, picking up the glider, and all of that.
Which, if you're a patron, you don't have to worry about doing. Buy a mount at the very beginning and use the glider that they give you. Also, equipping your title and your cloak that you get from the patron stuff increases your stats dramatically, especially for if you're trying to solo.
Yeah, and this does seem to... This worked really, really well, even with some failed pulls on my part as a duo. Like, every mob goes down pretty quickly. Just coordinate with which one you're pulling, and you won't run into the problems. So, groups of 2, groups of 3, groups up to 5, depending on how much you want to risk one person disconnecting and having to be either left behind or waited for. You know, take your risk. But, yeah, this went really well. That was my first time finishing the full entire thing, so I'm really happy to get the 59.
You still haven't even rendered on my screen. It's just your elk running around by himself.
Ah. Yeah,
it's pretty hilarious.
It's kind of weird.
You have to clip that in because it's pretty good.
Yeah, well, I have Ghost Wolf in my name for a reason.
It actually still shows you on the minimap being back inside by the quest giver.
See, we did it so fast and so quickly, even the game can't understand what we just finished doing. Alright, well with that, that's the end of the tutorial, so hopefully this taught you something and helps you prepare for the big land grab.
And if you guys have any questions about the tutorial or have any questions about the run at all, feel free to send me a message on the forums. I'm usually in Mumble all the time, so just get a hold of me somehow and I'll try to do my best.
Yep, and for those people watching this on YouTube long after launch, because I'm going to delay releasing it so not everybody follows the same path and clogs up the mobs, leave comments in below, and the guild is Tenacious.
Woo, Tenacious.
Alright, see you next time.